Hey, y'all, welcome back to the Late Night Vision Show. It is still August. It is still hot, but we are here, and we are glad to be here for another week, and we are thankful that y'all are joining us. My name is Jason. I am the owner of Outdoor Legacy, and as always, I've got my co-host, Hans, from the Hans East Texas YouTube channel, from Ben Wheeler, Texas, Big Town. What is going on tonight?
It is hot, and if y'all are still out there hunting right now, y'all are the dedicated ones. But
That's right.
I will say it is people are starting to get back into gear in the hunting. They're thinking about their season starting. People calling, ordering scopes like crazy. It's been good. It's been a very good summer for us, and I think people are excited to start getting back out in the field. And either they're deer hunters and they're trying to get their thermal scope so they can take care of some predators and hogs, or people out there that just looking for some cooler weather to get out in and go hunt. But we are excited to be back for you. We've got another review for you this week. But before we jump into the review, if you're interested in any night vision or thermal optic, give us a call, 877-350-1818. You can find all of our optics on the website, outdoorlegacygear.com. If you want to speak with me about anything that you see on here, or if you see something over on my YouTube channel, Hans ETX, and you want to know how one optic compares to the other, call us, because Jason and I have used everything. We've hunted with everything. We've used it. We've looked through it. Now, if you want to start talking about some stuff that you can only find overseas, then maybe we haven't seen it. I do get calls about that, like, hey, have you seen this? I'm like, man, that's not even made it over here yet to the States yet. But
That's right.
If it's in the state, we've hunted with just about everything. So, but thank y'all for coming back. We are going to review, doing a big review of a bigger brother of a monocular that we've already done.
Yeah.
Bigger brother?
Big brother,
Yeah.
older brother,
Yeah.
big brother. I don't think it's older, just a bigger.
Yeah, newer, bigger brother. It's newer. So we're talking about the InfiRay Outdoor, iRay USA, whatever you want to call it, the Zoom ZH50. So we've already reviewed and talked about the Zoom ZH38, and to jog and refresh everybody's memory, that optic and that monocular right now was the only one on the market that had an optical zoom, not a digital zoom. It does have digital zoom, but it also has optical zoom as well. So we'll explain all that, how it works, and introduce you to this new ZH50.
So right now, while Hans was mentioning the ZH38, I'm holding one up. I've got one in my hands right here, and I've been using this unit, and I just wanted to show it. Hans will be showing you this ZH50, which is going to look, not surprisingly, the same. It's going to be a bigger objective lens, but it's going to be the same looking unit. He's going to do the walk around, all that here in a little bit, but I'm going to go over the specs. And when I get done with the specs, then I'm going to explain a little bit more what Hans was talking about with this optical zoom, and we'll get into that. So the unit we are reviewing today, as he said, is the InfiRay Outdoor ZH50 or Zoom ZH50. It is distributed in the United States by iRay USA, and this optic, I'm just going to jump right in. It is $4,499. This is a handheld. We should mention that this is not a rifle-mounted scope. It is a handheld thermal, a monocular, as we call it. It's got dual lenses, so it is a 2-power and a 4-power optical zoom. Again, more on that later. It does have a 4x digital zoom on both of those lenses, so again, we can get into that. It's a 640 by 512 resolution on the thermal sensor. It's 12 microns. It has a shutterless calibration. This is the second thing that makes it different than any other thermal optic besides the other zoom. Again, we'll explain that at the end. There's a lot of explaining at the end. Maybe I should have done this at the beginning. But right. the two lenses that provide two different fields of view. So when you're at the 2-power optical, you've got a field of view of a very, very wide, 92-foot horizontally at 100 yards. When you go up to the 4-power, you still got a very generous 46-foot horizontally at 100 yards. The unit does include video recording, no audio. It has Wi-Fi for the InfiRay Outdoor app that you can stream to. You can pull your videos and stuff off onto your phone, what have you. It uses the InfiRay IBP1 removable rechargeable battery pack. Hans will show you that here in a minute. I may pull mine out while I'm sitting here talking so he doesn't have to. That's always hard when somebody's watching you to try to get these things in and out. That battery pack, it is removable and it is rechargeable. I'm going to hold it up right here. There it is in my hand. I got it pulled out of this unit. You can see right here, it slides right into the side and locks in. Now, here's a cool thing. This is something that I don't know of any other monocular that we sell that does this. Hans, correct me if I'm wrong, but it comes with a spare battery. So you get, two of these batteries. They retail for about $169. So that's an extra value that you're getting.
All right.
Runtime, our bench test, which just, charging it up, setting it here on the desk and letting it run all the way down. Kind of a best case scenario. It's not freezing cold. It's, not turning it off and on record, but just a normal charge it up, let it run. We got about 11 hours. And so that's a very long time. Even out in the field in cold weather, that's still going to give you really, really good run time. And with the spare battery, you're looking at, as it comes out of the box, 20, 22 hours of runtime. That is a bunch. So even in cold weather, you should be good for all night and plus some. Unit has multiple color palettes in it. It weighs about 23 ounces. It's rated for down to -4 degrees. It is an IPS 6.7 rating, which is completely dust and waterproof, submersible, 3 foot for 30 minutes. And it has the famous iRay 5-year warranty with a 1 week replacement or repair policy. So that's really nice. So I'm going to real quick talk about the ID ranges. Then I'm going to go ahead and jump into explaining a couple of these features that make this so unique. We'll be talking about them a lot, I'm sure, through the show. But ID ranges, we're going to say it's pretty standard for a 640. Give or take 400 yards, maybe further than that. I mean, there may be guys get it and go, oh my gosh, it's way further than that. That's a conservative, realistic answer. I think when you're on that 4-power magnification at 640, identifying a hog or a coyote, a deer, that sort of thing out there in that 400 plus yard ranges is very, very reasonable to do. So good image quality there. Now, again, it's $4,495, $4,500 basically. And I'm going to explain quickly, I say quickly as I can, these two big features. And again, this is the ZH38 I've got in my hands. I'm going to explain. So what we're used to with any other thermal optic we've ever seen is you have a fixed objective lens in here, and whatever the magnification is, you can't change it short of pushing a button and zooming up digitally. That's no different than you would do on your cell phone camera or something. And you know what happens? You zoom in and you lose resolution and it gets grainy. It's what all thermals previously have done. But through black magic, some kind of hocus pocus, I don't know how they do it, but in here they have two lenses. And this is your focus on the front of this unit. And so that's what people are used to. Hey, I need to focus my lens. But you do. It is a focus. But if you keep turning past where it's focused and starts getting out of focus, the next thing you know, you can see everything starts getting bigger. And all of a sudden, you have rolled in a different lens that provides more magnification. So on this unit, it goes from the 2-power to a 4-power optically, meaning you are not losing digitally image quality going from 2 to 4. In a normal 2-power 640 thermal optic, when you zoom to 4-power, you've doubled your magnification, so you've cut your resolution in half. You've gone down from 640 to 320. This one, you're still at 640. And again, both, they're focusable. So, like I said, once you see it start rolling in, you go, oh man, it's getting bigger, you still have to focus it. You get it tight right where you want it. You want to go down, you just twist this. It doesn't require anything more than that. Now, each of those, the 2 power and the 4 power, still have digital zoom. So if you want to use this just like any other thermal optic you've ever had, let's say you're at 2 power and you want to, there's up to 4 times digital zoom. So you could go from 2 all the way up to 16, or you could go from, 2 up to 8, or you could go from 4 up to 16. And again, digitally. So they both have that. Really, really cool feature. I will say this. I said this on the ZH38. Brand new technology. I think we will be seeing more and more of this. I think this is the future. I think we will see other brands doing this in years to come. I don't know when. I don't have any, I don't have any inside knowledge of that. I'm just making a prediction that I think it's going to be the game changer that people are looking for, because we've always said, man, it looks beautiful until I zoom it. Right. And then I lost all that image quality that I paid for. So I think we're on the very beginning of a technology revolution of where these thermal optics will be going. And I think we'll just see that coming more. So second thing, and we'll talk some more about this as we go through the review. Second big thing that we've never seen in a thermal optic is a shutterless calibration. And if you're new to thermal, if you're familiar with thermal optics, you already know. Every optic, the thermal sensor has to be calibrated, or nuked, as we call it, NUC. It's slang for some big words, nuked. And basically what that means is every so many seconds or so many minutes, the thermal sensor needs to be refreshed. And I say it's like an Etch-a-Sketch you had when you were a kid and you draw on it. And when you want to start fresh, you got to shake it up. Well, so in a normal shuttered thermal optic, you can do this manually, or the unit will do it automatically when it senses that it needs to, and it needs to clean up the image. It will flip a shutter down, and you hear this audible click, and the screen flickers for, just it takes 1 second. All right. And it's right back. And, again, it can do this automatically, or if you want to do it whenever you think the image needs it, you can press a button and do it. If you're on some of the other optics that don't have a shutter, you have to close the lens cap, because there's no shutter in here. So you close the lens cap and you manually press a button. Then it's done. You open the lens cap back up. This is a shutterless technology, does not require you to do anything. It is via the software. I don't know, the little computer in here. It is calibrating itself without you knowing it. How it does it, again, I don't know. Don't really care. It's just doing it, and it works. So that's really, really cool. I don't think in a handheld it's that big of a deal, because you're not shooting, so you're not worried about always needing the best image, or hey, when's it gonna nuke and lock up, or I got to remember to do it. So you don't have to worry about that in a handheld. But I think this just shows us this is what the future is going to hold, I think, for other thermal optics, including rifle scopes, where that does become a bigger issue. So again, the Zoom ZH38 and now the Zoom ZH50 are offering something we have never seen in a thermal hunting optic. Shutterless calibration and true dual lens optical zoom. Very, very exciting changes that, again, I think we're just on the beginning of what's to come.
Right. So let's do a quick walk around, and then I'll show you what this optic comes with in the box. So as we talked about before, 50 millimeter objective lens, and I'm sure you've shown it, but the dial to focus the image and change it from 2 power to 4 power is right here on the front, just behind the objective lens. So you just turn that whole dial left or right. Eyepiece diopter focus right here. It's got a rubber eye cup on the front, a very nice padded hand strap. So if you're driving around, walking around, I always have these things strapped around my hand so I don't drop it. I've had guys that have had these, a monocular in their pocket, in their back pocket, and walking around and lose it. and that's just a terrible situation that nobody wants to find themselves in. But having that padded hand strap not only makes it easier when you're holding it up against your eye for several hours, but if you're moving around, carrying it around, you're not going to drop it, which is an even better thing. An ambidextrous design with the buttons on top. And like Jason talked about on the side is the battery compartment where the batteries pull out. So very basic design. It's got the USB port, USB-C port right here underneath the unit. But again, basic design like most monoculars are, with the key being the uniqueness of that optical zoom and working that. But it's very easy, like Jason said. Now I'm going to move away from the mic just a second so I can get this box. Now we've got all of it here. Now this monocular comes with a spare battery, so that is a big deal because those batteries, again, around $170, close to $170, and that being thrown in there does give you just all the runtime you're going to need for a whole night. So extra battery in the box. You do have your a nice padded case that it comes in, so if you're traveling around, you don't want it to bang around in a bag or in the back of your truck, you can put it in a padded case. It does come with a I don't know if I'm sure you did notice this, Jason, but it's got this I know it's not leather, it looks leather, but this little thing for going around your neck, so if you want to wear it around your neck, it has that in there, which is a very very cool thing. It's got all your cables that you need, USB-Cs. It's got some other stuff in here for whatever device you're trying to connect it to. And then other than that in the box, I'm not going to pull it out, but you get I don't know if you saw this too, the plugs that it comes with, like the wall plugs. It's got one for probably every country that has different electrical sockets. There's like 4 or 5 different wall adapters in there, and it's all some funky stuff that you've never seen or used before, but I know it's all European or what. But that, and then the charging base comes with it as well. So that's the charger base. Now you can charge it, the extra batteries on the base. You can charge the battery in the optic itself, just plugging the whole thing in the wall. Man, I'm banging everything around over here. It's going to sound great on the audio. But you have that ability to plug it in either, like I said, with the base or plug it in through the wall. But that's the walk around and what's in the box, which is a new segment that we started. And I think it's important. A lot of people want to know what it comes with. A lot of questions. And now we've tried to make it a point to say what you get with it. And this optic, along with the great features that it has, that extra battery, that's a big deal. 5-year warranty, extra battery. It just shows you how much value a lot of these things are starting to come with.
It is. I agree. I mean, I understand that at $4,500, this is not a unit that is going to appeal to every person, but there's a lot of guys out here hunting with $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 scopes, and they want a good 640 monocular to go with it. And so this is one of the options. I mean, and I'll tell you something, this market, as many optics as there are, from handhelds to rifle scopes and there's more and more and more. That's why we're reviewing stuff like crazy. But there is a very, very limited number of quality 640 handhelds out there. I mean, you can count them all in one hand. Yeah. And if we say the 384 standard resolution monoculars, my gosh, I don't know, we'd get lost trying to count them. But the high end 640 stuff, it's very, very few, and the competition is steep there. So this is definitely going to be another unit. I want to just talk about, kind of overall my thoughts. Love the design. I really do. I mean, Hans used to make fun of me. I talk about the padded hand strap, but it is.
I don't
really
just make
nice.
fun of you. All the customers and listeners that call Outdoor Legacy, they give you a hard time when they're talking to me.
That's because they've never used one with and without. I mean, it's a big deal. Yeah. No, it's really nice to be able to have that, and like I say, palm that unit, loosely hold it in your hand. If you're going out and you're hunting for 30 minutes a night, who cares? But if you're going out there and you're doing a lot of walking, a lot of stalking, it is nice to be able to have that thing loosely held in your hand. And like Hans said, you don't have to, get tired of gripping it, stick it in your coat pocket or your back pocket and lose it. So I like that. I like if you just can't really see this well, but I'm going to try to show this on this ZH38. Inside here where your hand goes, this is rubberized. And it's this, I don't want to say it's cushioned, but it's just a little bit of rubber there. Feels nice on your hand, so it's easy to hold. This is a substantial unit. I mean, it is 23 ounces, so you're going to know it. I mean, it's not like a brick, but I mean, it's there.
It doesn't feel cheap.
Very.
It doesn't feel cheap.
It does not feel cheap. No, not at all. And, part of that weight is this battery. I mean, I pulled this battery out talking a while ago, and I noticed immediately the weight difference. But again, you're getting 11 hours. And so, you can find some of these monoculars that may have a 3 or 4 hour run time on the removable battery, but who wants that? I mean, give me 2 more ounces and 11 hours. I'll take it. Right. So I really do like that. I think that, and again, I kind of feel like I may be getting ahead of myself of who it's good for and what have you, but I think the appeal to me on the 38 and on this 50 is you're getting 2 monoculars in one. So you're getting a 2 power and you're getting a 4 power. And if you were just buying any other monocular, you have to choose your magnification. Okay, do I want 2, or maybe it's 2.5, or it's 3, or whatever it is. But and if you choose a 4, then there's a lot of guys that are maybe in hunting coyotes. And they go, I don't want a 4 power monocular, and I'm like, you don't want a 4 power monocular. I mean, unless you're hunting in really, really big country, you don't want a 4 power monocular. And they go, yeah, but sometimes I'm looking out there at 1,000 yards and I just want to see heat. I'm like, I get that. But sometimes you might be looking at 50 yards or 100 yards and you don't want a 4 power. Well, here you go. You got a 2 power, you got a 4 power. It's the best of both worlds. Hans and I's, both of us, our favorite magnification on handhelds is 2 power, just as a base. So this unit has it, but it also has the 4 for you when you want to, zoom up and get a little further range. Right. So my overall thoughts, I really like the unit. I think that it brings a lot to the table for the price range, and the guys who really, really like this unit are guys who are already using iRay Ricos. And the reason is it's using the exact same battery pack they have. So now, you're already getting a spare battery, but you charge all your batteries up and you throw them in the truck, and you got batteries for your scope, you got batteries for your hand. You're not trying to keep up with, hey, is this battery charged, and do I have plenty of those batteries? It's all the same. And that, across the scopes is a really, really nice thing to be running off of one battery.
Right. That's exactly right. Well, you want to talk about you're going to move on to our pros and cons? Okay.
Yeah, let's do some pros and cons, and then we can get back into talking about the unit. So go ahead.
I'll lead in with the cons, and I really only have one. I think that as far as the eyepiece, looking through the optic, you're going to get the best picture image or the best visibility when your eye is perfectly centered behind the viewfinder screen or the eyepiece. So if your head is at a slight tilt, or if it's not perfectly aligned, it does seem like there's some blurriness around the edges of the screen if it's not perfectly centered. A lot of people have a lot of terms to describe that, but to me, it's just making sure that your eye's perfectly centered behind the eyepiece. Really, that's the only con that I could come up with all of this.
I've got one more that I'm going to mention, but I want to expand on what you're talking about. I think, and Hans has used this term to me before, and I think it's fair. I think some people might take this and think it's worse than it is, or may not know what he means, but he said sometimes it feels like a fishbowl effect. Yeah, and I think he's right. I
didn't want to use that term only because I felt like it scares people away, and it's not as bad as it really sounds, but somewhat of that. Yeah, exactly.
You just feel like you really have to press your eye in, and you want to get your eye close. And see, this is all, which, I mean, I don't know how much this Hans showed, but I'm going to show here on this unit. This is really cushioned. I mean, you see this? I mean, I'm pressing in a 1/4 inch. A lot of cushion here. I mean, here, let me see if I can even show here.
That's
I
going
mean,
to be the thumbnail.
look how much.
That's going to be the YouTube
Yeah,
thumbnail.
that's the thumbnail of me
video.
pushing the cushion.
Pushing the cushion.
Oh my gosh, I have a feeling that's going to come back to haunt me. So, okay, I got to regain my composure here. No more pushing the cushion. So listen, I'm going to be as red as my T-shirt.
I know,
right
and
now.
it's
So,
week 220 something,
Yeah,
and I finally
I have
got
no
you to
idea.
say something that is
Yeah,
somewhat
it's-
controversial and might get us red flagged. So
that's
the straight laced one, drops a,
that's
a
right.
term like
that's
that.
right.
Okay.
All right, guys. I'm sorry. We got to get this back on the tracks because it is derailed. So I'm just making the point. When I put my eye up to this thing, I mean, I really feel like I want to push it in there, because what happens is, feel like the center of the screen, I mean, the let's say 80% of in a circle is clear. The edges, I kind of feel like I really have to get my eye in. That's what I think Hans is talking about when you get to one side or the other. And by the way, guys, I keep flipping this back and forth. This is just a little, keep the light out if you want there on the side of this shutter here. Not shutter. What is it? Eye cup.
Eyepiece,
Sorry,
yeah,
little eyepiece, eye cup. So I think that's it. I would, if there's one thing I guess I'd change, it might be adjusting that eyepiece a little bit. I will say this too. So I believe the image quality is really good. I believe it's a good 640 image. I feel like that there is probably some very small amount of loss of image due to the optical zoom, the 2 lenses. Again, I don't know what's going on in there, exactly how it's happening. I feel like there's a little bit of a lossiness there. And again, this is coming from somebody who's looked through, I mean, Hans and I both, tons and tons and tons of 640s. We have sold a lot of the ZH38s. We've already been selling these on average. People are loving them. Like I said, especially the guys that have already got a Ricoh. People like the unit. So I'm not trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. I think that there are, gives and takes. You're getting something that another optic does not have. And if you're going to buy a 2-power 640 and you're going to zoom it up to 4-power, or say it's a 2.5 and you zoom it to 5, whatever, you're giving up more image quality to do that digitally than I think you could ever, possibly give up with this. So I think the real 2 and the 4 optically is a big deal.
Right.
So I think those are the only 2 things that, we like to point out. Anything we see,
Right.
any little small thing. And again, I've had guys tell me, hey, we appreciate it. Thank you for pointing these things out. Some guys say, y'all get nitpicky. Y'all are. Well, I was like,
Right.
but we look at a lot of optics,
Right.
so we want to point out anything we see. Again, I think those are 2 minor things.
Yeah.
Now, getting to the pros, I'm going to tell you something. I don't know if we talked about this last time or not. We might have, but I know the guys that have bought these units, there's something that they really like on them, and I admit it is cool. And every thermal optic ought to have it. Right here on this unit. On the side, when you plug it in to charge it, so you plug it in right here on the bottom, okay? You plug it in right there. And when you plug that in to charge it, let me back up. This is assuming you don't pull the battery out of it.
Right.
Because there's a cradle charger in the bag, right, Hans?
Yes, there's. Yeah.
I didn't hear you say that for sure. Yeah, there's a cradle charger for these batteries. But I'll be honest, a lot of times, I mean, we've all got USB cables laying around. It's a USB-C. We've got them laying there. So a lot of times I don't pull the battery out because then I got to get the cradle charger. I just plug this thing in and walk away from it. And so when you do, right there, you can kind of see it on this video. That is a little LED and it lights up red. Tells me that it's charging. And unlike a lot of other optics, I have to come in, I have to turn it on, I have to look in it and go, yep, it's full, or nope, still needs more time. When this thing goes full, it turns green. Right. Now listen, guys, I know what you're thinking. It's a $4,500 optic. That's the least that they could do, is give me a red and green LED. But what I'm telling you is that's not common in this industry. It is not common to have any exterior indication of when the unit is actually charging and when it is fully charged. So that's cool. I like it. It is minor, but it's something nice that you're getting. I think, I'm kind of going over these pros here, and I'll let you jump in if I leave anything out. But obviously, the dual lens, and we're harping on it, but you have to. I mean, that is this unit's claim to fame, is having the 2X and the 4X. So really, really like that. Obviously, the shutterless calibration, we talked about that. And I think another big one for me is just going to be this battery life. Yeah. I mean, this is some of the best battery life I think we've seen in a handheld binocular with a removable rechargeable battery. And man, that just gives the guys, especially guys in cold weather, a lot of confidence to be able to go out with this thing and not worry about okay, you Texas guys are getting 3 or 4 hours out of it, but I'm up north and it's 10 degrees and I'm burning through batteries. I think it gives them a lot of confidence, to be able to go out with the spare battery and know, hey, if I left with them both charged, I'm good. Even if I left with one of them charged, I'm probably still good.
No, exactly right.
Anything else you want to add to the pros?
I think the big thing, like you said, this is basically 2 optics in one. And for all of you out there that that feel like, hey, I need more magnification because I'm hunting in wide open areas and 4 power is appealing, but it's nice to have 2 power if you need a wide field of view. If you're for whatever reason hunting in a different environment, if you're traveling somewhere and hunting, if you've got coyotes or something running in from the side of you, and things are pretty active up close. And vice versa, if 2 power is a good, base magnification for you for your environment, it's nice to be able to jump up to 4 when you're trying to ID an animal very far out, which happens from time to time as well. So 2 optics in the one is basically and I think you alluded to it too, is the reason why the release of this optic was had a lot of anticipation from a lot of consumers out there that wanted to see this and wanted to know exactly how it worked. So the picture quality is also good. Getting a spare battery and one of the best warranties in the industry is a big deal. $4,500 is not a little amount of money. It's a pretty good stack of money, but you're getting. You are getting a lot. You're getting one of the best warranties in the industry. You're getting the extra battery. You're getting technology now that is brand new on the market, the latest and greatest. So we will, and you talked about it too. iRay Ricoh owners, for obvious reason, like this monocular because of the battery setup. So being able to swap those back and forth is an important thing for them as well. So, and getting that spare battery, you can use it for your monocular or use it for your scope. That's on the iRay Ricohs only though, not the Bravos or the Bolts.
I'm going to say something that's minor, so tiny minor, but the lens cap on this is nice. There's some optics out there that, I mean, it's just, look, it's a cheap plastic lens cap. I mean, let's be honest about it, but there's some lens caps out there sometimes that I'm like, yeah, that's going to break.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's going to break. And this can too. Look, I mean, I could twist this thing. I could break this off here. No doubt about it. But it's a nice lens cap. And I like it. It locks in. I mean, you can hear that. I don't know if you can. I mean, it locks in nice and tight. So I do. I like that.
One thing we didn't also mention, and this is the last pro that I'll talk about. This does have Wi-Fi, and you can download the app, the InfiRay Outdoor app, which that app to me is probably one of the best in the industry paired with these optics, with the iRay scopes, with the InfiRay Outdoor scopes. That InfiRay Outdoor app, very easy to use, stays connected very, very well. I mean, if you have the Wi-Fi on one of their optics, your phone is gonna override everything and take your phone because that's how good the connectivity is. You can use the viewfinder mode, which basically means you can look at an iPad or your cell phone instead of having your eye on the glass the whole time. Or downloading videos is easy. Sharing videos to your phone or your laptop is easy. So really, really, anytime we get to test or we're testing a InfiRay outdoor optic, I'm always like, oh yes, it's easy. It's going to be easy to get videos on and off the scope. So that's a big plus for all you video creators, content creators, and just anybody that wants to send their hunting video to their buddy. It does make it a lot easier.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that is a big deal. A lot of people ask about the apps. I mean, I have people that tell me now, hey, I don't own a computer.
Right.
You know, I got an iPad, I got an Android or some kind of tablet. I got a phone, iPhone, Android, whatever. I don't have a computer. And so some of these other optics, you got to plug it into a computer to get them off. And this is, we're obviously moving this direction that you don't have to. Hans and I still do a lot of times for editing and things, but it is nice if you're not editing, you just want to share a quick video with a buddy or maybe upload it to Facebook or YouTube, Instagram, whatever, you can do that straight from the unit. So I tell you what I want to roll into here is we're running out of time. And we've alluded to this, but who this unit is good for. And Hans, I'm going to go ahead and pop off here real quick and you can jump in. I'm going to say that the ZH38, which again, we've already reviewed, 1.6 power and 3.2. I know a lot of guys are going to say, what's the difference? 2 and 4, 1.6, 3.2. Well, there's a pretty good difference. I mean, it's not a huge amount, but I would say if you're a hog hunter and you're hunting in the South, you're hunting in tighter conditions, and maybe you're a deer hunter, maybe you're in the woods or again, a hog hunter, cow hunter, going to be in those tighter areas. I would recommend the 38. I talked to a guy today who was in Ohio, and he said where he's at, he can't see over 100 yards. He said everywhere I hunt, there's so many trees. He said I hunt small clearings, small openings, and he said 200 yards would be the maximum anywhere I'd ever see. And so again, I always said the north and the south, but I guess it's not always fair to put everybody in that one bottleneck. I'd also say I talked to a guy who was in Mississippi who said he can see 1,000 yards. So anything can happen, but it depends on where you're at. But with that said, I think that the 38 is good for the guy that's really doing a lot more closer range stuff. He needs that low 1.6 power for maybe getting in the woods or just he's really not ever going to be looking over maybe 300, 400 yards on the far end. I think this unit does not have to be just for the coyote hunter, but I think if you are a coyote hunter, this is the one I would go with. I mean, if it's within the budget, I think it makes the most sense because you are getting that 4 power. You're looking at smaller animals at longer ranges. I think plenty of hog hunters will still use this unit because, again, as I said, my favorite magnification is 2 power. So, I mean, I can use the ZH50 with no problem. I can use the ZH38, which I've been doing with no problem as well. But so I think that the 2 and the 4 power, I guess I'm going to say this. It's probably the best all around.
Yeah.
It's probably going to do the most for you and hinder you the least. I don't think it's going to hinder the guy that's hunting under 50 or under 100, maybe 50 yards, under 100 yards though. And I don't think it's going to hinder the guy that's, looking out there at 300, 400, 500 yards. So anyway, this is the 50 is my favorite unit, but the 38 still has a lot of value.
Right. I'd agree with that. So if you're interested in purchasing either one of the iRay Zooms, give us a call, 877-350-1818, or jump on the website, outdoorlegacygear.com. Again, that's outdoorlegacygear.com. You can go find all the optics there. Please subscribe to us, the Late Night Vision Show on YouTube, on iTunes. Follow us on the socials, which you can find the Late Night Vision Show on Instagram, and on Facebook, on YouTube, and any of the podcast sharing apps. You can even watch it on Spotify, and you can watch it on Facebook. Go find Jason over at Outdoor Legacy Gear on Instagram and on Facebook. Also check him out on some of the forums. You'll see him over there answering people's questions. And you can find me, Hans ETX, Hans ETX, on Instagram and on YouTube. And go check out all of our past episodes of the Late Night Vision Show at thelatenightvision.com. Find all over 200 episodes over there and a lot of optics. I don't want to say a lot, but there's optics there that don't even exist anymore. That's how old the show is. So
True.
thank y'all for checking it out, and we look forward to being back very soon with another episode.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this review. Again, if you got any questions about the unit, how it compares to any other thermal, handheld monoculars out there, whatever, if you don't know if this is the right thing for you, give us a call. Hans and I are always glad to help. We'd love to have your business. Stay tuned. We have got more great shows coming up. We've got a list of shows that we are trying to get done because there is just so many things going on as we approach fall, and we're trying to cram in as many shows as we can and not leave anything out. If there's a review or a topic or something you want us to talk about, just a question you want answered, leave a comment in the comment section there on YouTube, and just say, hey, next time y'all do a question and answer show, throw this in there, or hey, here's a topic I'd really like to see. Throw them out. We're always scratching things down, taking notes, and we'd love to have your suggestions. Appreciate y'all watching this show. We hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see you here again next week on the Late Night Vision show. So between now and then, y'all stay safe in the fields and keep making those bacon pancakes.